Hello, my friends. Welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I am Christine, your host, and today have the pleasure of having Alyssa with us. She is a menopause nutrition expert and author, and she's going to tell us about her journey and her book that just came out. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you, Alyssa, for joining us.
Lovely to see you today.
And I bet you can guess Alyssa's in the UK. She's got that lovely accent.
Yeah, I'm not quite Dick Van Dyke, but yeah, so I'm near London.
I got you. I got you. I'm geographically challenged. I've been there. I've been to Italy and all, but I still can't pinpoint accents at all. So tell me about the book. It's very exciting.
It's so exciting for me, hopefully for people who read it as well. So the book is called Everything They Told You About Menopause Weight Loss is Wrong.
And I
And
100%
it's pretty
agree with that.
much what it says,
Yeah,
because there's so much misinformation. And as I'm sure your listeners will know, the sort of menopause era is a key time in our life for our health, not just weight,
right.
but our metabolism and how our body works. It starts taking a bit of a nosedive. And I see so many women who there's other stuff going on, but what really annoys them is that they can't seem to lose their weight. So it's a book about how to do that and about weight loss, but in many ways it's about everything to do with menopause, because when you get some fundamental things right, then all sorts of things start falling into place.
Maybe you can tell us in your research and in your opinion. I am sure I have very strong opinions as to doctors and their advice have been wrong forever. You go to the doctor and they tell you just need to move more and eat less, and or you're just stuck with it. That's just how it is at that age. And I had a doctor tell me, what can you expect? You're getting older. Thank you. Thank you so much. But what is one thing if somebody came to you and they said, I am so struggling, though my weight just keeps increasing and I just can't seem to get a handle on it. Maybe you could recommend one place, one little place to start. I'm the queen of little micro habits.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, great. So I would say if I met with someone, obviously, usually I'm asking them a little bit more information than that.
of course,
Often, where things start to spiral out of control, I'm going to take two things, if that's okay, and you
of
can
course.
use. So the first thing is often women don't have a good breakfast, and if you start the day with a breakfast at lunchtime because you've done a massive long fast because you're really good at them, and you start with a breakfast that is not balanced, it doesn't have protein in, it doesn't have your fiber and healthy fats, and instead you're following those old wrong diet rules that belong over there with our eat less move more, and you're looking at your 99 calorie bowl of fluff that's just going to spike your blood sugar levels and make you feel starving an hour later. If you start in the wrong way, you're just going to be chasing everything. You're just going to be chasing the snacks. You're not going to make the best decisions at lunch. So if there's one thing, it would be that. But if people already know about that, the other thing that comes up over and over again is most women get about planning, because they wouldn't dream of having a family meal in the evening that they hadn't planned, because it's stressful having the kids go, what's for dinner? And you're thinking, I've got no idea. So they plan that meal, but what they don't do is they don't work out, well, what am I doing for myself in the morning and at lunch? So if people are already doing the breakfast thing, but things aren't quite working, it might be that they haven't created a structure where they're going to be successful in the rest of the day.
I love that. And it's so true. I actually find women undereat.
Massively.
They undereat and they're so worried about the weight gain that it causes them to undereat further. And so then they're not fueling their bodies and they're so tired and they're not sleeping right. And the not sleeping is causing them to have massive sugar cravings. And then it
Mm,
just repeats. And so
yeah.
it becomes this cycle of unhealth and not taking care of yourself. So I love that you wrote this book. Is it available on Amazon or where can people
Yeah,
find it?
it's available every territory that Amazon is in, Barnes and Noble and various places in between. But you're so right about under eating. I personally, I don't work with calories because they're a lot less important,
I
I
don't.
think, than what people eat. Certainly when we get into that sort of menopause and post-menopause era. The only time that I do it is because I want to just get my clients to check in with, are they eating the right amount of food? So it's okay to check in with exactly what you've said. And then they're looking at, oh, I'm eating 1,000 calories. And that's the kind of behavior we might have had when we were 20, when we wanted to starve ourselves into a bikini. It just doesn't work.
No, and it's doing us a disservice because it throws our hormones further off, and then we're just in bodily chaos. And so I totally get what you're saying. When I was in perimenopause, I felt desperate. My weight kept increasing. It was the middle of COVID. I felt yucky and I just didn't feel good about myself. Went to the doctor. I told you what they said. I was teaching fitness at the time. I'm like, I can't move anymore. Like I'm just not physically able to do more. And I can't really eat any less, or I'm just not going to be eating. So I decided to throw caution to the wind. I took all the nutrition classes and just took it upon myself. And that's how this podcast was born, because I know there are so many ladies struggling and people like you out there to help them. But it's hard to find the people when you're in the middle of the struggle and you feel like you've tried everything and you feel you keep going to these different doctors and they keep giving you false information or old data. And you're right. What you did in your 20 doesn't work in your 50s, your 40s. It just, your body's different. And I always say it's
Hard, isn't
menopause.
it? And the message is just so broken that
Yeah.
what we're stuck with is what the health professionals are telling us. And as you alluded to earlier, it's not even the right message. And where do most women go from there? They just then don't know who to believe.
And I don't know about you, but I have found a lot of doctors prescribe antidepressants because they
Mm,
think that it's a problem. You're just sad. You're just depressed about your weight. And that makes it even worse. So
yeah.
then it's compounding. So do you, I know that you wrote this awesome book and I think that's super exciting. Do you coach ladies as well, or is it just teaching?
Yeah, no, I do. I run my own menopause nutrition clinic. I'm
Okay.
also a mentor a couple of days a week for other nutritionists and health coaches who are just starting out, helping them find their brilliance and who they want to work
Send
with.
the
But
message out. Send it out. It needs to get
yeah,
out.
and I do lots of corporate work as well. So I was doing a day yesterday, and nearly everyone who showed up, and everyone who showed up was a woman, and the majority of them were midlife women who had problems with losing weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tried all the things.
Your services are needed. It's too long ignored. I think that is really important. How can people find, aside from the book, how can people find what you're doing? Are you on Facebook, Instagram,
I'm in all the places.
all the places?
Yeah, so my
Okay.
website, my business is called Food Fabulous.
And I like that.
And yeah, so it's all about how we can use food first to help ourselves feel
Right.
fabulous. So I'm Food Fabulous Nutrition on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and foodfabulous.co.uk
Doc.
for the
Wonderful.
rest of the internet world.
Got it. Okay, awesome. And so if someone's struggling and they need help and they want to contact you, the first place they'll go to is your website, because that I'm assuming connects with all the socials and all that good stuff. And do you
Absolutely.
do one-on-one clients or is it more group style?
At the moment, I'm mainly doing one-on-one. I just love, I do like group work. I'm not running groups at the moment. I love the power of group in everyone holding each other accountable as well. But I'm focusing more at the moment on the one-to-one and making that really big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I like that. And because we're all different, we all have our own little issues. I do like the group concept. In fact, you're right. I like the accountability, but at the end of the day, it's what's going to get us results fastest and how are we going to best feel heard, seen, all that good stuff.
Yeah, because it can be private, can't it? It's what is unusual for me, and I do get this. I have always been apparently over interested, my family's words, in what goes in and what comes out. And having
Probably.
had 4 children, I have no modesty. I don't mind just saying it as it is, but I do recognize that it's not everyone likes to be open about their health. And menopause is a really tricky time for women, not just in the world of weight, because stuff is happening that's a bit embarrassing that they
Oh,
don't
like
want.
being dry as the Sahara Desert? Yes, that happens.
No
That's the truth.
one, no one says it's going to shrink.
Right.
It's going to hurt, it's going to shrink, it just will not be pleasant. They don't say that. And it comes as a huge surprise. And then women are thinking, like, don't really want to go and have the conversations with my doctor because it's excruciatingly embarrassing. And what if it's just me? So we should definitely talk more about that.
I
So,
agree.
so allowing women to, have a bit of a rant, have a bit of a cry, and also then get into a resourceful state that they can just go, okay, now what am I going to do about it? Because the unfortunate thing in midlife is all the things that didn't used to matter, like sleeping properly, like making sure that you actually have a self-care plan and a stress relief plan. All of those things matter, but we've only got a certain number of hours in the day, and some of those are working, some of them we're sleeping, and we're caring for others. So it's finding that personalized path to have the magic happen in your actual life.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you get it under control and you feel heard and you feel seen and you get product that helps you, like I got like a little estrogen cream for the dry parts, and it makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
It just does. And when I got my sleep under control, it makes all the difference in the world. When I'm sleep deprived, I make poor nutritional decisions, or I just load up with caffeine. Neither one
Yeah.
is good. So it's those simple little changes make a world of difference. And I
And
wish,
do you find in your world where you're working with fitness, you're working with lifestyle and with nutrition, that sometimes people think it's odd for me as a nutritionist? I mean, I am a health coach as well, but that sometimes I don't even start with the food. Sometimes, even if the food isn't great, I don't start with the food because sometimes it's actually, you mentioned the sleep piece. If people aren't sleeping, it can be because of the food, but if they're not sleeping because maybe they're not prioritizing that aspect, they're still doing the ironing at 2 o'clock in the
right,
morning, and they're
right.
not prioritizing it, or they're not planning, or there's something wonky there. It can be, if you don't get that bit right, the rest of it, the rest of fixing everything is going to seem just like such an impossible struggle. And they might do it for a couple of weeks, but actually, what we want to do is we want to inspire our clients to be able to do this on the repeat so that they can have that transformation that they want, because it absolutely is within reach.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I think it's a lot of things, and it's not always just about food. But I feel like when you get to this age, you sometimes lose the ability to care for yourself. You're so busy
Mm,
caring for everybody else. Like you said, you're ironing at 2 a.m. And there are times where I'm like, what am I still doing awake? I need to get to sleep because I need to be up early to teach that morning fitness class. And I need to film for my clients, and I need to do all these things. And I teach bread baking. I got to get those done, and on it goes. And at the end of the day, you're like, holy cow, I'm exhausted and I don't
mm,
even have time to go to bed.
yeah,
It's that rat race. And so I've learned to prioritize myself. I,
mm,
I know that once a week I need to go and do something for me, whether it's getting my nails done, getting a massage, going out for a nice long walk. That recenters my brain, and then I'm good. I'm like, okay, I can redo it. Because, you add grandparenting in the mix, and I'm babysitting and picking kids up from school and taking them to activities with my daughter and just racing around. And again, it depletes you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you have to fill it up every once in a while. And I think what you're doing helps women realize that they can take that time to rejuvenate themselves and get back on a healthier path.
yeah, I do notice sometimes I went through a bit of a phase where I had lots of women who I was working with who just weren't taking care of their own happiness. They were doing all the things for all the other people, and they were right there on the bottom of the list, and their life sucked. They just didn't enjoy it. It was not. So it's interesting about self-care when women have been in that sort of working role, the wifing and partnering role, the child rearing role, and they are at the bottom of the list. And husbands always think they're at the bottom of the list, poor little sausages. But actually, it's the women, and they get so distanced from what makes them happy that even if they had half an hour, half a day, 5 minutes to do something for themselves, there's this like disjoint, and they don't know what to do because they've got so distanced from what would make them happy. And so I'm working with people to come up with this plan and to do some of that thinking so that when they really need that stress relief, instead of having half a packet of cookies, they're not having to go through the Rolodex in their mind thinking, what would make me feel really good right now? Sometimes there is crying. A lot of time there is crying when it suddenly dawns on them that they have absolutely no idea what they like. They know what their husbands and what their kids like and what all the other people, but what brings them joy, they don't actually know.
Yeah,
And then that's quite a pivotal moment.
I can see that. I can imagine. Yeah, that's such a good point. Do you find that's more the case with business women or it just across the board? Doesn't matter what you do.
I don't think it matters. Business women have different chats. So I find women generally don't do self-care. And they think they don't have time for it and they feel really guilty. And then when we look into it, it's, oh, this is curious because your husband is managing to go on his PlayStation or Xbox for 2 hours. And yet there's no time in the family. But what I find with working women who are particularly the high achievers is so used to being able to function on high stress. And often they will thrive on that high stress situation where they're constantly getting little hits of dopamine, they're constantly on the go, that actually that concept of even sitting down and watching Netflix without also writing a presentation or checking a spreadsheet or doing 4 other jobs, that, and we talk about maybe guided meditation or things like that, and they're trying to be the best at it. It's like they're trying to really ace the self-care like it's another target, so that's harder to.
I'm laughing because it's exactly how I am. I have to really, it's hard to do self care because I'm such a driven person. When I get to the self care, like if I'm doing guided meditation, I immediately fall asleep because I've been going and going. So it's just a funny situation, but I can relate to what you're saying. It's taken me like 10 years to get to the point where I'm not multitasking if I'm watching something. I usually have a notebook. I'm writing stuff down. I'm writing my to-do list. I'm writing my grocery list. I'm writing my podcast information. I have a hard time disconnecting, but I'm learning.
It's for me, it's about leaving the phone somewhere else because we're so tied to it. It's
Yeah.
super common for, and it messes up, it really messes with your stress when the first thing we do in the morning, we get the phone, we're checking our emails, we've got that blue light and we've got the little bits of stress from, oh, my boss has just asked me if I could do such and such. And then we're checking it all the way through the day. We finished our working day, we're watching the stuff on the TV or whatever, however we're winding down, and we've got constant WhatsApp pings or notifications, and it's just drawing us, it's keeping us in that really stressed state.
No, I 100% agree with you. It is so hard to disconnect, but it is so very important.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
looking myself. It's a difficult situation. You're struggling, you're feeling awful, you want to get help. They can reach out to you, set up a one-on-one, obviously buy your book too, because that's having in-house support all the time. About how long are the sessions?
So the first session that I do, I offer various different packages. It depends what people need because everyone's different and their
Okay.
budget's different. So my premium package, my signature program, we work together over the course of about 12 weeks.
Okay.
However, people work with me, whether they just have a strategy session, we start with 90 minutes getting it all on the table. What do you want? Why do you want it? What does that look like? What's going on in your health? What else do I need to know about you? And then we come up with our strategy.
Okay.
And sometimes people just want that, but other times they need more support to get around the hurdles of everyday life. Perhaps they've got more complicated stuff going on. And then the subsequent sessions are about 45 minutes.
Do you find sometimes people come in thinking they want one thing and then they have this aha moment and it really is about something else? So they might come and say, I really want to lose 20 pounds. But
Yeah.
when you get to it, they're just so overwhelmed with life that it's not really the 20 pounds. It's just that life is bogging them down and losing the weight is a bonus. It's an outward manifestation of what's going on in their life, the chaos.
Yeah, totally. And often people don't really understand what we do. I don't know about you, but before I work with people, I offer a free call where it's not just about finding out whether we like each other. It's about finding out how I'm going to be able to help them and what's there for them and allowing people to see that something else is possible. because all that misinformation and people don't really know, they don't really know what they need. So we make our best. This is how I think it could work for you. But
Right.
sometimes people are a bit nervous and they just want to try, I only want to lose weight and I just want to do the strategy. But actually, once they experience it and when they understand that there is something they can do about their digestion, there is something that maybe they might want some DNA testing, or they might want to do the Dutch test, or they need support with other areas, even just,
Right.
not life admin, but creating a framework for the magic to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Awesome. I thank you so much for explaining all that you do, for the success of the book. Congratulations. I know that's a labor of love. I just writing it, but then having to get it all published and edited and all those steps, overwhelming just to think about. But I'm so
And
proud of you.
without AI as well.
Pardon me?
Without AI, people who know me have said,
Oh,
it's like you're sitting next to me. I'm reading it in bed and it's you're sitting next to me. And I'm thinking, how rude of me. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it comes from here, doesn't it? When you write something, where whatever you do, when you create it from a place of passion where you just really want to help people.
yeah, it's amazing. I'm really proud of you because a lot of people think about it and not a lot of people do it. So kudos to you. And I hope you'll keep in touch with me and let me know how things are going in the future. And I'm going to put all your links in the show notes for our friends that are listening. And please, everyone, if you have issues and you need help, reach out, because the amount of speed that you'll get to your goal is magnified greatly by getting professional help. I am a coach. I have a coach. I've gotten professional help many times. It really helps. Don't be afraid to reach out. Alyssa's great, and obviously she knows what she's talking about. So give her a chance to help you. And I am going to, like I said, I'll put all the show notes in there. My friends, thank you for listening today. As always, I pray for each and every one of you. Make sure that you subscribe and you like and you comment. I'll make sure Alyssa gets your comments. And thank you so much.